Hi, I'm Stephanie Hartshorn, an oil painter here in Denver, Colorado. I'm going to walk through a time lapse of an oil color sketch that I do in my sketchbooks prior to getting rolling on one of my larger pieces. I've got the image drawn in pencil on the paper and I'm coming in now with very thinned down paint to establish the dark pattern. Bringing in the first block of color, still seen as an underpainting color for me. It's often darker than what I'll end up with. Painting directly on paper is a bit tricky. It's quite absorbent. I thin down my paint quite a bit, almost like watercolor consistency, and then alternate between a painting knife, a brush, or the wedge tool, the catalyst wedge. This is a pretty small scale to be using my wedge, but often there are some cool accidents or overpainting that result in little moments that I want to take into my larger painting. The color studies are crude. They're not super refined at this point, but they're giving me the connection to how in the future I'm going to lay or how I'm going to carve out shape, which tools are going to bring the effect that I'm looking for. I have a few more colors on my palette right now as I'm exploring the combination I want to use for the final painting. I typically use a primary triad of a single red, single yellow, and a single blue, sometimes an extra blue, and titanium. Here I'm pushing out a little bit more in my reds to see which will be the best fit, and a little bit with the yellow as well. I mentioned earlier that paper's a little tricky to paint on. I've chosen this because as it absorbs, it's allowing me to add layers quickly that represent what I would do in the studio over a course of days and weeks. Coming into the last layers and adding a lot more detail now. You can see I've continued to alternate between my brush, my palette knife, and the catalyst wedge, and of course my trusty stick to continue to bring lines back after they've gotten a little mushed around. If you'd like to see more of these color sketches and other steps of my process, check the link below for my website and sign up for my newsletter. There will be a collection of instructional videos coming soon, preparing for a painting, sketchbook work, and all kinds of stuff. Like and subscribe here, and follow along on my website, studiohartshorn.com.